Good evening. Was that guy who's on TV? It's 6:02 p.m. and welcome to the City of Paris Planning Commission meeting. It's been a long time, right? September 15th.
So these are great projects to work on too. They're fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're fun.
Huh?
I don't know, but it is fun.
Okay. I don't even know where that came from. September 15, 2021, and we have a call to order.
Commissioner Lopez? Here. Commissioner Jimenez?
Present.
Commissioner Gomez?
Here.
Vice Chair Shively? Chair Hammond?
Here. With that, I don't think there's any presentation. We move on to item 5, consent calendar. Planning Commission minutes for August 18, 2021. Where? Oh, Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I should look at the screen. Forget this thing. Look at the screen. Now I can see it. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Jimenez. I don't wear glasses. What can I say?
Please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's easiest right here. And we move to item 6, consent calendar. Are there any corrections or any additions or any mistakes from any of the commissioners? Apparently none. I'd like to open it up for public comment on the consent calendar. Does anyone in the public like to make a presentation? Or I don't know if we're still on Zoom or not. Okay, so or Zoom, Ryan, if there happens to be somebody that has a comment on the consent calendar? Apparently not. Okay. Close the public comment portion, and someone would like to make a motion. Commissioner Jimenez has moved, and we just second, and seconded by Commissioner Lopez. And if you would.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez?
Yes.
Commissioner Gomez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively? Yes. Chair Hammond?
Yes.
A vote of 5 yes, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. We move to item 7, public hearing. A specific plan amendment 20-05180 and conditional use permit 20-05100. A proposal to amend 9.5 acres on the north side of Markham Street between Paris Boulevard and Redlands Avenue, west of the existing Pence Logistic Building, 278 West Markham Street, from Business Professional Office to Light Industrial, within Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan, and to allow truck and vehicle storage subject to a conditional use permit to facilitate the construction and operation a truck and trailer parking facility, APNs 302-110-031 and 032. The applicant is Bobby Nasser, Truck Terminal Properties, LLC. Requested action is continuance of this item to the Planning Commission public hearing on October 6, 2021. Now, we need a vote on this one. Right?
Mr. Chair, sorry. Mr. Chair, this will require a motion to continue to a date certain, but before we entertain a motion, since it was already noticed as a public hearing, we ought to
Do you want to do
open the
public
public
comment?
hearing, see if there's any public testimony, and then close public hearing, and then move to continue at that point.
Okay. Okay. Is there any public comment on this, on specific plan amendment item A? Or on Zoom, I guess it's Zoom. No one, okay. And we'll close the public comment portion, and we can ask for a vote.
Just to clarify, we'll need a motion in a second to continue
Yes,
the date
yeah.
certain.
Mhm. I'm not looking Vice Chairman Shively has moved. Oh, that's the previous one. Vice Chairman Shively has moved and Commissioner Jimenez has seconded.
And just to clarify, that's a motion and second to move it to, I'm sorry, to continue it to October 6, 2021. Correct.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes?
Commissioner Gomez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively. Yes. Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote of 5 yes, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. Move on to item 7B. Major modification 21-05045 to approve development plan review 18-00007. A proposal to amend a previously approved industrial project combining two buildings, i.e. 24,018 square feet and 19,336 square feet, into one 43,300 square foot building located on the east side of Paris Boulevard between Commerce Drive and Business Park Drive. APNs 303-292-010 and 303-292-1111. Applicant Mario Calvillo, if I'm saying it right, Lee and Associates. Requested action, adopt resolution number 21-19, finding the project categorically exempt from CEQA under section 15332, class 32, infill development, and approve major modification 21-05045, subject to the conditions of approval. And at the onset, is there any ex parte communication or other things, visiting of the site? And we'll go around from Isaac. If you had any ex parte, did you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I drive by the area, and I go on runs in that area as well.
Okay. Commissioner Jimenez?
Drove by the area.
Okay. Commissioner Shively? No? Okay.
Same here. I've driven by the area.
Okay. And I also was driven by the area. Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Chair and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Ryan Griffiths, and I will be presenting major modification 21-05045. Taking a look at the project location, it is currently located on two parcels that are 2.6 acres. They are located east of North Paris Boulevard, south of Commerce Drive, and north of Business Park Drive. There is, for the general plan and specific plan zoning, it is within the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan, and within there it is zoned light industrial. As you can see, all the gray areas are zoned light industrial. There is an existing industrial building to the west on the other side of North Paris Boulevard. There are existing industrial buildings to the east adjacent to the site. There is an entitled industrial project to the north, and there is an in-process industrial project to the south. Standing at the site looking west towards North Paris Boulevard, you'll see there's existing landscaping, and then on the other side of that would be the other existing industrial building. Taking a look from North Paris Boulevard east towards the site, you'll see there's an existing medium in place with landscaping. There's a meandering sidewalk with landscaping, and you can also see to the far right those two existing smaller industrial buildings. This is looking north up at the site, and this is looking down south from the site. As this is a major modification, this is a modification to a previously approved project, which is DPR 18-00007. That previous approval allowed for two industrial buildings totaling 43,354 square feet. Building 1, which is 24,018 square feet, is either a single or multi-tenant building, and Building 2 is 19,336 square feet, which would have been a multi-tenant building. They have two access points to the north and south, to Commerce and Business Park Drive, with no direct access to North Paris Boulevard, and this project was approved by the Planning Commission on August 7th, 2019. Now taking a look at the actual requested modification, they are requesting to consolidate those two previous buildings into a single tenant building. That's 43,300 square feet. It still has 2 points of access to the north along Commerce Drive, where the blue arrow is at the top of the screen. That is going to be for passenger vehicles only. On the bottom of the screen, going on the southern entrance from Business Park Drive, that is going to be for truck access only, as indicated by the red arrow. And then between those, there's a red rectangle. That indicates a fire access gate that will separate the truck court from the passenger vehicle, so there's no commingling between the different vehicle types. For a building this size, there is no amenities required. The applicant did, though, provide an outdoor picnic area, kind of where in the top left corner where the two pink trees are. There's a picnic bench and a small trellis cover there. They have 63 parking stalls proposed. They are overparked. They do not require that many, and we'll go into further detail on that in a bit. There are 7 truck doors proposed. They will not be visible from North Paris Boulevard, and there will be a decorative screen wall, 14 feet, that covers that portion that will be visible from Business Park Drive. That will be landscaped with a berm, and that leads it into also they have 18% landscaping for the site when only 12% is required. So they have 6% additional landscaping. And tying into some comments from Commissioner Gomez on the last meeting, this project is 2 blocks south of the previous project. So we did talk to the applicant. We did include some Chinese elms into this project, so this will kind of flow with the previous project as well. So this project does have that as well. Taking a look at the development standards, it meets or exceeds lot coverage, building size, floor to air ratio, structure height, the setbacks, and the landscaping. For the parking requirements, they're proposing 3 uses within this building. There is the office space, indoor manufacturing, and warehouse. Taking into the calculation each one of those uses, they require 56 spaces. They are providing 63, so they do have additional parking. Taking a look at the elevations here, as this is a modification, they stayed pretty close with the previous entitlement and the colors, material, and the overall design that was utilized previously. As this is a single-tenant warehouse, they did have to increase the roof height, so there is that's the main difference. They did add more architectural elements and pop-outs and roof variation compared to the previous projects. There is a few small revisions to the engineering conditions of approval. Condition number 4 is basically adding a condition or adding on to the condition stating that the driveway to the south at Business Park is for truck access only. This was already referenced in the planning conditions of approval, but it's just being referenced here as well. Condition number 5 is just a clerical revision to make that both driveways will be per Riverside County standards. Condition number 6 is just including that both the northerly and southerly frontages will receive sidewalk and necessary ADA ramps. And then the last part would be removing a duplicate condition. Was shown number 24 and number 26, so we're removing number 26. After that, staff recommendation is for the Planning Commission to adopt resolution number 21-19, finding the project categorically exempt from CEQA under section 15332, class 32 infill development, and approve major modification 21-05045, subject to the conditions of approval and those revisions to the engineering conditions that we just showed. I'm here for any questions. The applicant and their architect are here as well. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Before we start going to the commission, could you go back to number 4, because I wasn't sure what that. You were saying the single driveway shall be car access only.
Correct. So the northern driveway will be for passenger vehicle only.
Okay.
And then the southern driveway, which goes into the truck court, will only be for trucks.
Okay. Okay, thank you. For the commission, do you have any questions or for staff or discussions with staff? Or we can go either way you want to go. left, right, Isaac.
Oh, wait, for staff, no, I have questions for the applicant.
Okay. Commissioner Jimenez?
Ryan, do you know what kind of trucks we are expecting? Is it going to be like the smaller bobtails? Is it going to be the 26-foot big rigs?
And the applicant could comment further, but I believe they would be semi-trailers that would be utilized.
Semi?
Yes.
Okay. And I didn't see any parking spaces for the trailers or anything. Did you?
I don't believe for a facility this size that they would be planning to do that, but the applicant can kind of comment further on the business plan proposed.
Okay. And just to clarify, you said where that red bar is in the middle, that was going to be an emergency.
Yes, it's a full fire access gate that will be screened as well, so you wouldn't be able to view through there.
Oh, perfect. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Commissioner Gomez?
Yes, thank you. You mentioned the ADA access and the size of the sidewalk. It looks a little smaller than the curved sidewalk that's already there on the north and the south. Is that true? Is this to scale, or is it going to be the same size?
I believe that there's a city standard that they have to follow, so it would be the traditional width that most sidewalks are. The engineer can comment further if I'm incorrect.
Good evening, Commissioner Hammond.
Yes, sir.
Chairman Hammond, and commissioners.
Yes, Commissioner.
Commissioner Gomez, yeah, these are per standard. The ADA ramp that is currently there is not per current standards. So we're requesting or conditioning the developer to remove that and replace it with the current standard that has the truncated dome. I don't know if you notice these throughout the city. We're replacing the old ones and putting the new ones in. So we have the opportunity here to request that from the developer.
Okay. The driveway for both driveways, do we have some kind, is there some kind of, I just want, the entrance, I've seen a lot of wheelchairs in the city. So I'm concerned about pedestrians going across the entrance of the truck and the passenger side. So if it's ADA requirement, does that mean that there's like a special type of curvature or some type, I mean, is there enough, how can I put it, of a sign or you know, how there's like paint on the ground or anything like that to support that?
That's right. You're correct. The standard that is specified here, which is County Standard 207A, that accommodates ADA travel, which is that 4-foot clear flat area right behind the driveway. So it'd be a continuous walkway or travel way from the sidewalk onto the driveway and beyond.
Okay. And so is there room to make that sidewalk bigger? It looks so much smaller and it's a high traffic area.
The exhibit that you're looking at, that's more schematic.
Okay.
So when we go through design, of course, they have to adhere to all the standards and it be plotted correctly and accurately at that time.
Okay. I have one more question. And the exit for the trailers, we'll find out what kind of trailers it'll be. However, if it is semi-trailers, is there a specific route that they're going to take? What is the specific route they're going to take to get to the route?
So this is kind of shows what they're conditioned to utilize in the current situation. I believe I forget if that's Rider 1 or Rider 3 in this picture that's being developed, but they put in all the street improvements. If you've been by the area, you've realized that Redlands Avenue was built out. That was part of this project. They also built out Sinclair Drive to the north, and they also built out Johnson Avenue on the left to the west. So they built out all those streets. So they're conditioned for all their trailer access to use the back routes basically and not utilize Ryder Street. So this project would follow that, and they would follow basically this green line here, go up to Redlands, and they can make their way up to either Morgan or up to Harley Knox and continue that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from Commissioner Shively?
Currently, there's
Microphone.
currently there's landscaping in the front along Paris.
Yes, yes, there is.
That's all going to be removed and replaced.
I am not 100% sure. I know that Public Works is in the LMD, so Public Works would make that determination what portions can stay remaining and what portions would need to be replanted. Basically, at this point, since it's Public Works, it's city-owned property at that point, they would work with the applicant, submit formal landscape plans, and they would discuss what needs to either be upgraded, what needs to be maintained, and they would update it per the city's request.
So that front landscaping will still be in the LID after it's complete.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Public Works condition right now, and they're asking that it be removed and replaced to the
landscaping?
current PVC standards.
Okay. No further questions.
Commissioner Jimenez?
I have two more questions for the engineer. Do we have room to, I really like the meandering walkways. Is it possible to do that as a wraparound all around the building, or do we not have room for that? I see like there is some meandering like on the bottom where it kind of guides that with the landscaping, but I don't know if that's something we could do, we have room for with the landscaping.
Sorry.
We want to hear you.
Commissioner Jimenez, there will be planter landscaping along those roads, both north and south. But if you want, if that's the commission's wish to have meandering sidewalk, then one can be incorporated, but there is enough room for it. It won't be like Paris Boulevard meandering, but it can meander through the limits of the parkway.
Okay, my second question is there something we can set up on the south side driveway to strongly encourage trucks to not be able to turn right, like a preventive, like maybe like a curved driveway, so it's not a head-on, but like kind of a curve so that they can't turn right?
That's right. So when you do the modified driveway, it will limit maneuvers, so they can make a right in and then a left out.
Okay,
Correct.
and we're able to do that?
Yes.
Okay. That's it for me now, thank you.
Any more questions for staff? Go right for it.
One more question. I don't see it, maybe I missed it. Is there some type of wall that is covering the view of the trucks in the back and the distribution area?
Yes, so there will be a 14-foot screen wall,
Okay.
and then we'll have a iron gate with metal mesh, so you can't see through that as well.
Metal
And then we'll have a landscape berm that goes up to it, so it doesn't have that 14-foot appearance, but it
Okay.
will cover it, so you won't be able to see in there.
Okay. And that's just on the one side, right? Not on both, or is it on both sides?
It would be on, you see where the red rectangle is? It
Yes.
would also be on the left and right of that as well.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Jimenez?
Sorry. One more, I think this is my last
What
one.
is you want?
I was going through my notes. I just noticed that when she mentioned the wall, it reminded me it was that block wall, but I think in the conditions for approval, page 8 of 9, and I think it was page 39 for us. It just says decorative screen walls. It just says decorative screen walls along Business Park Drive shall be 14 feet in height with landscape berm and decorative pilasters, should be incorporated and include a decorative cap, subject to review. But it doesn't say there that it has to be, because I thought I read initially that it was like a stone wall and not just the screen walls. Was it supposed to be like concrete walls to block the view, and it was gonna be a berm leading to that to make them even higher?
It's labeled as decorative screen wall, so it wouldn't be just your typical smooth stone. It would be the one that has texture to it. And that's typically, I think, what we utilize for all industrial projects, unless requested otherwise.
Okay. It's just, I think I had read it differently somewhere else, so I wasn't sure which one was the correct terminology for the blocking of that. No, I can't even find it. It just I think it caught my eye just because it was worded differently.
Oh,
And I
8
just
and
wanted to
9?
make sure that,
The 8 and 9?
yeah, it was here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
earlier it was mentioned it was gonna be something else.
Just above there on 7 and 9, talking about landscape.
No, here. Okay, no, it does say a decorative block screen wall. And the other one just says screen wall and not block screen wall. So I
Okay.
just, the word block was missing, so I wasn't sure if it was transitioning to iron rod that was decorative screen or if it was still a block screen wall.
And that's a 37G, correct?
37E, I think it was?
Yeah, yeah. 37G on page 7 and 9.
Page 8 of 9.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Staff can add in there decorative block screen walls.
Yeah, just so that the terminology matches. I caught that. It was 37, nope. It was 41A.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any more questions? You just go for it. Go for it.
I wanted to follow up, because I'm looking at the legend, and you mentioned the Chinese elm. Which symbol is the Chinese elm? How many are there?
They would be I guess the darker green ones to the north and the south mainly.
Okay. So on the name of the plant, for example, the existing crepe myrtle, it says on the legend to remain. Okay, and so does the queen palm. It says on the legend, it says to remain. So just to clarify, Kenneth did mention that they're working on it with Public Works. If can we work to get the more queen palms on the front, the Chinese elm on the front,
Okay.
if there's a change?
Yeah, I don't think the palm trees are no longer allowed within the PVCC, so that's the reason they're being removed.
Okay.
But we can request that Chinese elms be added there.
Yes, just because I see it on here, on the actual site plan. And it says to remain, so I just want to make sure that that's noted. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I get to be last this time, right? On the site plan, and I'm glad you have it up. And just one general question. If you look at the site plan, you'd mentioned if you come from Business Park Drive, you go in there and there's no parking stalls shown there. So what is that section below the red bar? That's where the trucks are supposed to just drop off and not supposed to park there, or what's going on here?
Correct. So I believe the truck would pull in where the red arrow is, facing that way. They'd
Yeah.
pull up basically towards where the red rectangle is, and then they just back into their stall,
Okay.
unload the content, load the new content, and then leave the site. That would be what I would assume. The applicant can
Yeah, no
maybe
problem.
clarify a little further, but that's what I would imagine.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. You don't want parked trucks there, I guess that's the idea. Lastly, I'm being real nice today, you can see. You go back to just the picture, where we had the picture, and I remember, it predates me, those meandering sidewalks, because to be consistent, there's where that church is, there's meandering sidewalks that goes all the way up the street, even before the church, I chose how long that was an idea the city came up with, to just break up the monotony of just going straight. But because there was such a setback, you could do that. You look at this picture, and we want to clarify when we talk about landscaping, and that's why I was talking about who controls what part of what. This side of the sidewalk, that part of the sidewalk. This is one of those examples of who does what. So if you have the landscape maintenance district, They're talking about sidewalk west, and the other north side, the side to the east, is the property owner. Am I correct?
I believe there would be LMD on all street frontages.
Right,
So-
but I mean, that's from the sidewalk going to that section that's between the sidewalk and the street.
This,
If you look at the picture, you see that,
Are
this is on any block anywhere in the city. If that section, because if you talk about doing landscaping, you're talking about, they have trees here, palm trees, I don't know who put, but if you're talking about west of that sidewalk, look at the sidewalk, west of the sidewalk, you're talking about that being part of the LMD, but the other side is part of the property owner, and they're to take care of that. So if they do landscaping, that 16.8% is from east of the sidewalk. Is that what we're talking about from now and future?
Just want to make sure I understand that clearly.
You look at the picture, look at the sidewalk. West of the sidewalk, then there's east of the sidewalk. Who controls what,
So typical, okay, for example, Paris Boulevard is in Arturo Street,
right?
and the typical right-of-way is about 12 to 15 feet
Okay,
on Paris Boulevard.
Okay.
On the two interior street, Business Park Drive and Commerce Drive, the right-of-way is typically 10 feet. That's a local street.
right,
So anything beyond that point, behind the, what we call the curb, that's the on-site property, and that's where the 18% comes in at,
Right.
landscaping percentage.
so, okay, so if you look at this, and this is just a general clarification
Yeah.
for anybody that might be watching. If you look at the street corner, you see where the sign says 45 miles, nobody does 45. But if you look at the street, there's that area in between the sidewalk, this can go in any neighborhood, anywhere in the city. That area between the sidewalk and the street is city responsibility. You can go down to Napa, you can go down to the car wash, you can go down all the street. Are we talking 12 feet in irrespective of the sidewalk? Is there a
I
clarification?
think you just have to, I think, I have to look at this plan, but typically, Paris Bowl, I think the, behind the curb, 15 feet or 12 feet back, all of that is in the LMD. I think the way it's conditioned right now is not in, I don't think it's in an LMD right now. I think the
Right.
Public Works condition talks about being incorporated in the LMD as part of the project.
Right. So that's
So-
irrespective of the sidewalk being there.
Correct. So, but the
Okay.
sidewalk right now would be included in the LMD area with this project approval.
Right, right.
So I just want to clarify one other thing. I know that there's reference in trying to make meandering on this interior side. Typically, that's not wide enough for the
Right,
interior side
right.
street, but on Paris
Right.
Boulevard,
Right,
you can accomplish that.
right. There's a lot of setback there, as you can see. That's why they were able to accomplish that, because there was nothing there but dirt.
right. I think Kenneth stated this, but I'd like to make sure we're clear on it.
Mm-hmm.
The property line or the right-of-way line
Right.
doesn't curve.
Right,
It goes straight, and we're not sure whether or not it's 12 or 15 feet, but it's
Right.
whatever matches
Okay.
that portion of Paris Boulevard,
okay.
okay?
Okay, so you understand, like, if you look at the other side of the street, right? You see all that landscaping is right up to the edge of the street, and then you may have a sidewalk. That edging there is the part of the LMD, right?
Correct.
And so a city would be responsible for that.
Yes, once.
Beyond that is where it's the property owner.
Correct.
So the other side of the street is a little different because you have the meandering sidewalk. But so irrespective of the sidewalk, whether it's the east of the sidewalk or west of the sidewalk, I'm using the sidewalk as the barrier. It's just that 12-foot barrier or 12-foot distance. So when we say they're talking about 68% landscaping, we're talking about from the edge of the property line up into to the 14, whatever wall is going to be there, fencing. So I just want to clarify, because this is almost all the time. This is what I talked about, the need for clarification. Now you see what I'm talking about. I don't just make this up. When you have properties and you have parkways and residential communities, it's always an argument, who's supposed to cut their grass there, and the sidewalk back is mine, screw it, it's the city, they don't do anything. So if you're not going to require them to take care of the landscaping from the sidewalk to the street, somebody's got to do it. Okay, and that is more so residential, but because it's Paris Boulevard, in a lot of cases, it's just dirt, it's weeds, and then you see the property owner. And then I'm saying who's responsible, because they annex into the LMD district, right? But again, it's one of those questions that's going to keep coming up on the street. Who's responsible for doing the landscaping? Because one year maintenance of what? It's good when it's your property and it abuts your property, but what about when it gets to that strip in the street? And that's just an overall question. And this is what I talked about. And remember what I meant a long time ago discussing where the property lines start. This is one of those prime examples of who's responsible for taking care of it, because this is your city.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna leave that landscaping portion looking a mess, it doesn't matter what you do, the rest of the property, if that's all weeds, the first thing you see is the weeds, right? So now the industrial developments like Wayfair and the rest of them, immaculate, okay? But when you start going down, it kind of, it just depends on who the owner, it just depends on that. So it's just a general question that just came up at this time, and that's why I wanted to see this. When you say 18% landscaping, that means you show it on the landscaping plan, but we're really kind of talking abutting the property. And so that designation of 12 feet, I'm assuming 12 feet, and I'm thinking, the engineers here, you might be able to clarify it more. If it's 12 feet from the edge of that sidewalk, or edge of the street curb to the property line, then that's what gets annexed into the city. And then responsibility for maintaining that is,
The city.
I knew I'd get you to say that. It's on record, guys, right? So you know who to get, Kenneth, right? No, I'm just kidding, Kenneth.
So that 18% is just within their property lines, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
That makes a big difference. When you talk about the trees, and when you talk about putting palms, this is a perfect example. It's within that area. Now, maintaining them, because why you put palm trees, but that's, okay. But that's where you start talking about where you're going to put these Chinese elms, where you're going to put the bushes, the heights, as part of that meandering thing. I know they wanted to have that Florida look or something. I don't know. but you've got to do it right. Landscaping, if you're going to do that. So, because you're going to be walking through there, and the palms drop, right? So you got to watch that. But the idea, and I think it gets back to what you're talking about, depending on what kind of trees you put there, depending on what kind of shrubs, that if you're going to put that, it has to have, there's a height thing. So if you have these tall palm trees, you really can't the property. Or if you put Chinese elms or crepe myrtles are great trees, But that's what I'm kind of talking about, the responsibility for that area, and aesthetic. We have the 1-year maintenance agreement that's part of this, which I had to pound it with that 1-year maintenance agreement. But once they annex into that, then it's the city's responsibility for maintaining it. Okay, nothing bad about the city. I'm just saying, I just want to know who's supposed to do what, because when you look at these projects, Paris Boulevard is part of that specific PVC. And you want to make sure that has a height in terms of landscaping. So that was my only point. It's not a bad point. It was just, this just was able to point out what I've been talking about, who does what and who owns what and who's responsible for what. And that's all the more reason to have that presentation. Because when you get in residential areas, it gets a little bit more dicey. He's like, I'm not doing that stuff. That's not my responsibility. Oh, it isn't? Developer comes in, I'm not doing that. That's 1 year past. Now it's weeds here and grass here. Or HOAs, you can eat off the street in the HOAs. But most of us are not in HOAs. So I think you see the point. Right? Okay. Any more discussions for staff? I think, unless you have a few more questions.
So, yes, so looking at the site map for the landscape, the legend doesn't include, there's a dotted line and a semi-dotted line on here, on the one I have. So if you're pointing towards Paris Boulevard, if you're looking at the Paris Boulevard landscape, there's the dotted line, and that goes curved with the existing landscape there right now. But then there's also a straight line or a semi-dotted line. So which line is property and which line is city? I think that would clarify it for us even better, if that's what those lines are there for.
Property line is typically a long dash and then 2 short dashes and
That's
then
the
a
one.
long dash. And so that would be the line that would mark where the property ownership is.
Okay, so that property line then, thank you for clarifying that. That property line with the 2 dashes, it does include the existing landscape. It's a little, because of the curve, it's a little odd, but it does include the palms and all of, and anything on the dirt from there. So, yeah, according to the site map that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, and likely what will happen, just because of this configuration,
Yeah.
the Public Works Department might ask for an easement to add the additional sidewalk that's in the property so they can maintain it. They'll kind of figure out and sort through the nuance of where the lot line should go and if an easement should be created so that there's one continuous area they're going to maintain.
Do we get any update on that? Do we get a say on that? How does that work? Once the Public Works decides what they want to do?
It's typically administrative, so you would not get an update on it, but,
Okay.
but if you saw issues where you thought things were not being maintained, please let us know. But, yeah, that's how we do. We make sure that there's an even line where you would
Yeah.
maintain the sidewalk, because that's the public responsibility, so.
And I think that's where Commissioner Hammond made a good point, is that after the year is over, how's that going to work? So want to make sure that is stressed. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion for staff or any questions for staff? Okay, thank you. And at this time, does the developer would like to come up and make any comments, or applicant, I should say, any presentation?
Sure. Hi, my name is Mario Calvillo. I represent the ownership, Shalagi Development and Management. We accept all the conditions that are set forth here. We're excited to come into Paris. We've got a lot of other smaller projects, which is our core niche, is the small building product type, which we're doing in Riverside, March JPA. Currently finishing up those projects and now happy to be able to come into Paris and continue that small building product for those small users and for both lease or for sale. So we're excited, and any questions other than that, we're ready to put a stake in the ground, as they say.
Okay, are there any questions, comments for the applicant, Commissioner?
Hi, good evening. So I know Commissioner Gomez expressed that she wanted to use Chinese elms, but I was wondering if you would be open to implement like more aged or fully grown trees. Like, I don't mind them being Chinese elm, but I know a lot of these projects use very young trees starting off, and I was wondering if you would be open to doing that.
Yeah, Commissioner Lopez, I think one thing you'll find if you look at any of the other developments we've done, we actually are very, and Moshe Salagi, who's the principal, his two pet peeves he has, landscaping and cleanup. And he always overdoes the landscaping. So we have no objections to working with staff, in the right locations of, if there was a 10-inch required going in, we don't mind expanding that to a 24-inch or something larger that would enhance it. In most cases, if we have those, when we do our walk site, Moshe ends up upsizing them anyways, even though it's not required. So yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Jimenez, if you, okay.
I think my only question was, I know it's a smaller building, there's only 7 docks. Do you foresee with a warehouse that's small where you would need any trailer parking, and if so, where would you put it?
So in product types like this, what we found is that it's not the very high demand, big larger boxes where you have the cross docks, and you'll see that they have enhanced trailer storage within their site plan. In cases like this, it's not a very high volume turn, and most likely where they park those trailers, as you see, they have 7 docks, and because it's a low volume, they're not using those docks, so that's where they're parking. Those trailers that are not in use are actually in front of one of the docks as they're using the other 3 or 4. So that if there's a need for them, they park it in front of the existing docks that's not being in use.
Oh, okay. I was just a little bit concerned just because I've seen other big rigs that are waiting to be loaded or unloaded, and they've parked at different locations, or they're at gas stations, or they're at restaurants just waiting for the call to come in. So it just seemed like 7 docks without any parking just seemed like not enough, but it is a smaller building.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gomez, did you have any comments or, yeah, you might as well stay there.
Yeah.
That was too easy, I know.
No problem.
I think we talked about the landscape, and I'm glad to hear that that your partners are looking forward to. They like that their pet peeves are making sure that the landscape is up and nice, and I think that would be the only thing at this time. And Commissioner Jimenez touched on the trailers. That's a very good point. We've seen that all the time, and we are definitely an industrial city here. However, that is something that we really want to make sure. Do you have a tenant already?
No, we do not have a tenant at this time. As we gear it up and make sure that we get through this process, we'll begin to enhance our marketing efforts, but didn't want to get too ahead and commit to anything to make sure that we've got a project that we can proceed on. So
Okay.
at the moment, it's a speculative development, but it's been our experience that even during, as we start, or prior to completion is usually when we'll get that tenant that comes on board, because they can see the facility under construction and begin to work with us and get a tenant at that time. We'd love to have a tenant now, but
Right.
but we
Of
don't
course.
have that yet.
Okay, well, thank you.
Vice Chairman Shiley. Are you sure you're okay? You got fever? Okay. No, I think they asked all the questions for me, which is unusual. I'm usually have 20 of them, so it'll be nice tonight. So.
That's why we like the small buildings.
Talk less. That's what I think. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Much. I think that was all the questions. Okay. No, that was it. I thought I had it written. But, now we open up for public comment on this item and this item only. And unless there's I have to ask a question if there's someone on Zoom that you know about that has a question. We still on Zoom? Oh.
We are on Zoom.
Wow.
There is nobody there.
Okay. Okay. Hey, gotta ask. Okay. We close the public whoa. I see somebody here. Is that we close the public comment portion and come bring it to the commissioners for any discussions or.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just to clarify, we closed the public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have said the word hearing, public hearing. Okay. And bring it to the commission for discussion. I don't have to stop. We can start. We'll give you a break.
Thank you. And I forgot to say hi to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been a while, and we just kind of just dove into this one. You really got us going today. But I want to thank the applicant and the staff for working on this and taking into consideration our previous requests and understanding what we are looking for in these projects. Thank you so much for that. I promise I was going to say something. Kind of went blank here. My goodness. No, I think that's it for now. If it comes back, I'll let you know. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank the applicant for hearing us out, and I noticed that you did exceed the landscaping by 8%, so I do appreciate that. I feel like that's a huge factor in these type of projects. If we could please just add that condition of using older, fully grown trees, I think it would make a huge difference. One perfect example that I have is the projects facing Ramona Expressway. I feel like they implement a lot of trees, but they're very small. They're very tiny, so I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of having them. So yeah, just basically that. The landscaping. Thank you again for exceeding that limit, and yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, Commissioner Jimenez.
Well, you know what I'm going to say about the
Oh,
landscape.
go for it.
I was really happy to see all the landscaping that they took into account, the Chinese elm. You know, I would like to make it aesthetically pleasing all the way around and have a meandering walkway all the way around. Makes sense. It's a narrower sidewalk, so I'm okay without it because of all the landscaping and the berm. I like how, big rig traffic and vehicle park traffic's already divided up. It seems like a lot of thought was put into it, the colors. I know when we worked on this the last time, I think that was one of our really long meetings too. And I think also what I really appreciate is having that outdoor picnic area for their staff, even though it's not required. That really does say a lot about somebody who's building and developing, that they do take that into account. And it seems to be a nice shaded area with a canopy, so it really is an inviting setting. So other than that, I didn't have much to say. The level plans were beautiful. The colors I like. The different levels in the roofing, the architecture. So I really didn't have a lot of changes to make to that, other than that entrance. And it seems like they're open to that, just to make sure trucks don't turn right and somebody doesn't come down Paris, turn left and try to go in that way. Like, it would be impossible for them to make that turn. So if we could incorporate that, that would be my only recommendation.
Don't worry, if you think of it, just jump in. Okay, go ahead.
It did come back to me, actually wrote a note. So I just wanted to comment, and for those who are listening to us today, we want to make sure that they understand that this project meets it meets the zoning, correct? Thank you. It meets the zoning. It is within the Paris Valley Commerce Center plan, which Ryan did mention during the presentation, in case they didn't catch it. Again, this is for our members of the community who are listening in on this today, and so therefore, that is, definitely, this is a place for it to be. It is on the lower end, on the outer end, but it's still within, so it's still in that right area. And I just wanted to clarify that, so if there's any questions or anyone needs to know that, there it is. Thank you.
And Vice Chairman Shelby. And I think you forgot to pass that, so if you wanted to see that block.
yeah.
You can, I didn't see it till now.
I didn't either.
That's what I was just looking for.
Oh.
There's nothing here telling what colors are what, so.
Yeah, take a minute.
These are
I'm resident
pretty
architect.
I like gray.
Yeah.
My only comments, I like that it's actually landscaped pretty well, that the replacing and removing of the palm trees is going to be beneficial. There's, palm trees are not really supposed to be in this part of the neighborhood. But the overall design, I think, was appreciative, and the colors are collaborative. And it will, again, go with the neighborhood in the area. And I'm glad to actually see a small warehouse type setting. It's not that's large, and hopefully you have a good tenant in there that can utilize it to the fullest extent possible. No further.
Okay. Yes, and I want to thank you for the project. It's also consistent with the colors in the area, not necessarily want to use that old earth tone stuff. I painted myself, but they won't let me do it. But this is the tone of these colors, and the colors are more matching. And the business park, you see the difference between that and the ones built in the 80s. Not gonna, they're probably dead, so I don't think. But the way they were built then, just thrown on a piece of land and whatever the way they look now, you're seeing projects that are a lot better, a lot more aesthetically pleasing, not more landscaping. So there's just a difference in time. So we're not just throwing up stuff and then say, well, let's fill in with it, whatever it looks like, and it's dirty after 10 years. We're actually looking at projects in that particular area that are really beautiful. The color is changing from earth tone. Nothing wrong with it, but I mean, it's just, we're out of the 90s, so so the blue, the grays, and other ones, and maybe in some places it might be emerald green, and who knows. But the idea is, well, no, because it'd be cannabis, right?
Right.
But the idea, if we appreciate coming in and being open, we're pretty easy on tonight's. I think you'd agree, right? Yeah. So we do appreciate the design, and I think everybody's seen the palette. Hopefully, they've seen the palette. Okay. I think all the other things were covered. I don't think, I don't think I had anything else to add, other than I like this area and the fact that the meandering sidewalk, guys, was just put in a long time ago, so we just have to understand it. Work around it, maybe we can show those palm trees, do something with those. I don't know who came, I don't know, it was a Florida look or something, but I don't know who came up with that on a major street. You just don't do that in landscaping. You know, and no architect legitimately would put that thing on that street, and I don't think Jack is a decent expert. But anyway, I do appreciate staff, and staff really got together and answered a lot of the issues. I think he did this. I think the fact that if you go on those streets, it's a lot of little weeds over there. It's a little dirt, but once they get cleaned up and as you have projects, it's going to look a lot better, especially with lighting and with landscaping. So anything pretty much better than just flat dirt and weeds, but especially along Paris Boulevard. And so you want something to be aesthetically pleasing, you want something to be nice, and that you could be proud of. And we want to make that all the way up and down the street. So it's not just you guys who pick on. Anything on that street becomes an issue. And so whatever we can do as the Planning Commission to enhance it, to make it look better, we'll do. So I appreciate that. Anybody else come up with any comments? Okay. You guys are being nice tonight. What's going on? Or is it me sitting here? Okay. Okay. And he's through. So at this point in time, I think we just go to public comment. We already have public comment, I'm sorry. I was going to ask the question, no, I was going to do is ask the question, but I think I better have the engineer, and probably would have to reopen the public hearing if I would want to do that. I don't know if it's not worth it. That's what I was thinking about, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's okay. I'll leave it. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking public comment. I was thinking I had a question, but I forgot to ask for staff, and I don't want to. It's not major, so it's not worth it. So I'll be nice tonight. Okay. I don't like to say public comment. It's public hearing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We have no more discussion. You didn't think of anything else? Okay. Okay. So are we ready for a motion?
With the conditions?
Yeah, I was just about to read them if I could. What are you pressing? What are we pressing here?
To vote. Go to vote. Give it a second. It takes a while. There you go.
Okay. We had some conditions, and I think the city attorney can help me because I tried to write them. Ryan, and I do appreciate the presentation, Ryan. You had condition number 4, and I think you probably wrote it down.
Yeah. If I may, the conditions as noted by on the presentation are modification to condition number 4, so that south driveway is truck access only.
Okay.
Condition 5, there's some clerical revisions so that it says both driveways.
Right.
Condition 6, requiring both northerly and southerly frontages receive sidewalk and necessary ADA ramps.
Right.
And then we're going to remove condition 26 as a
26,
duplicate. Those are the ones that are on the presentation.
Okay. So you talked about 41A, block screen wall. Or is that something that's a condition 41A that you wanted to edit that one?
I think the request was to make it so that condition 37G and 41E were consistent
Okay. Okay.
in terms of the terminology relating to block walls and whatnot.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And I believe there was a request to add a condition about the driveway, the configuration of the driveway.
If I may,
This-
I can modify condition number 4.
Number 4.
Of the engineering conditions?
Engineering.
Engineering condition number 4. So the addition would be, and the single driveway on Business Park Drive shall be truck access only and shall be modified to restrict access to right in, left out only.
Okay.
And then condition number 6
Okay.
will add install 6-foot wide meandering sidewalk.
And I'm okay we can't do that because I know it's a narrower street. That's what Mr. Funk said. So I'm okay with the commission's okay without it. I am okay
Yeah.
without it.
It'll be at curb, so I won't modify that one.
Yeah, so Jay's one curved?
No, we're good.
Because I
Yes,
think
you
past
will.
that point, it's straight, right? So it
Yeah,
would just be
yeah.
like curved until like where the building ends, and then it
Right.
would be straight, unless we just wanted to do straight all the way. I'm okay with straight all the way, just because it's narrower, and I'm thinking
yeah.
people on
Yeah.
wheelchairs might be easier for them to maneuver if it's just a straight sidewalk. But I'm okay with either one.
Yeah, as long as there's, pedestrians is one thing, but wheelchair access, that's my main concern, and make sure that that's wide enough for them to feel comfortable and safe while they're going down that path, those
Okay.
two streets.
Yeah, so
Okay.
straight, I'm okay with straight, because that's
okay.
what I
So
consider.
eliminate
Straight
the-
is okay.
We're eliminating the
The meandering on the sides.
meandering on the south
Yes.
side.
South
Was
and
it
north. yeah.
South and north, just on.
Just on Paris.
Keep it on Paris.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And then was there also a reference to Public Works Condition 3A to reference the Chinese elm
Yeah.
on the Public Works condition?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to double check if you wanted to entertain Commissioner Lopez's request for more mature trees.
That's where I was next gonna go.
And so-
always.
And that would, just for easier for staff, I think the condition now reads that 30% of the tree is 36-inch box, and typically there's a percentage that's 24-inch box, and there's 15-inch box. Do you want to say the remaining is 24-inch box, so that way you don't have the 15-inch box? That's easy for staff to review instead of,
Yeah, consistent.
I
24.
think for the elm trees, weren't they in a, they're in a larger box, aren't they?
36, I think.
They're 36, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the other ones would be 24, so they're a little bit bigger, yeah. Instead of
okay,
15.
yeah.
okay, so we'll amend, I think, condition 37A to have, and minimum 24-inch box
Right.
trees.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all I can think of. And you wanted to know what I was going to ask? This is exactly what he said. It was the idea of adding this business park and that street that was missing. The idea, we had commerce, I think, but we didn't have the trucks only in the engineered conditions. See, that's, we think alike.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, too. You don't want to think like me. Okay, I think that was all the items. We covered all the amendments. Okay. Unless I missed something.
If I may, do you want me to repeat the conditions at play?
No, everybody got it? No, that's okay. That's okay. It was the last one. That
I
just-
think staff would like to have repeat the conditions only
Okay,
because for
if
clarity's
you got
purposes.
it, actually.
Okay, so these are engineering conditions. We're gonna modify condition 4, south driveway as truck access only, and modify so to restrict access to right in, left out. Condition 5, clerical revision so that both say, so it's both driveways. Condition 6, requiring both northerly and southerly frontages receives sidewalk and necessary ADA ramps. Remove condition 26 because it's a duplicate. Moving on to public works conditions, it's going to, I think condition 37A is going to reference a minimum 24-inch box trees. And that is all that I have in my notes.
With the LM.
And to reference the Chinese elm on was it the LMD? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Public Works Condition 3A.
3A, okay, so 3A, public works condition 3A would have a reference to the Chinese elms as discussed.
That's all I can think of. Okay. Okay, a motion,
And that's a motion to
approve
approve
all the
staff's
conditions.
recommendation with the conditions as noted.
Mhm. Commissioner Gomez, and we need a second. I can't do it anymore, guys. Well, I could, but, and seconded by Vice Chairman Shively. Okay.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes?
Commissioner Gomez,
Yes,
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote of 5 yes, this motion passes.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ryan. We forgot to thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Doing double duty here. I mean,
He was.
jeez. That's probably why we were nicer, because Ryan was there.
He knows what we expect.
Yeah,
He knows us so
yeah. And we move on to item 8, business items. I can't imagine. There's no business item. We move on to number 9, public comments. I have to go through it for the record. Anyone who wishes to address the planning commission, thank you, regarding items not on the agenda may do so at this time. Please walk up to the podium and wait for the chairperson to recognize you. Yeah, right. Please speak clearly, give your name, spell your last name. No. Not could ever do that. Each speaker given 3 minutes to address the planning commission, just going through the motion. Seeing that there's no one in public comment, unless there's someone on Zoom?
No, sir.
Okay, no one on Zoom. We close the public comments portion and move on to commission members' announcements or reports. We start over the right.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Commissioner Hammond and Commissioner Jimenez, and congratulations on your first meeting as chair and vice chair. And also, it's good to be back. I know we took a good little break, like 4 weeks, or
Oh, yeah.
so it feels good to be back. And, hit the floor running. And yeah, we had a good meeting. I hope everybody has a good night.
We'll skip over here. How about Commissioner? Oh, okay. Go out of order here.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Yes, thank you everyone for the work. Thank you so much for being here. It's good to be back before I forget how to do this again. But good improvement, and I hope, I think we're getting our opinions out there and what we like, what we want. I think this is good. This feels good. Let's see. I guess, can I ask my questions to the staff after or right now? Okay, so I wanted to know, I'm sorry to bug this, but Ryan, how's the map going, the updates on the current projects on the website?
If we can just wait and then we
that
can
later?
update you. You can ask the question, then we'll.
Okay. That one, and my other question is an update, status update on the truck route map that was requested as well? We got it?
We just got it.
Where? Oh, yeah, okay, email. I'll figure that one out when I get home. Did we just get it?
Yeah.
Earlier to, okay, see, now, okay, now.
It's small.
It's small? Okay. And that was it for me. Thank you all.
Commissioner Jimenez.
I wanted to say thank you to Ryan. It's nice to see, the staff really recognizes, knows where we're going to go, knows what we're going to ask. And it's nice to see applicants who are very open to know that this is what we're expecting. We have very high expectations, and they're just willing to work with staff just to make sure that we have projects that are high level quality for our city. So that is really nice. It makes, I think, our job's a lot easier too up here, where it's just quick. I did want to ask about the trucking routes. I saw the email that came in. It's small, it's good, but where would one report a certain company whose truck drivers are constantly going against the route expectation? I had one cut me off, and I had my daughter record it and take pictures because she was in the car with me, just because they made a left to go on to Paris. They were on Ryder, exited, made a left, turned up to Paris. So, I mean, I had to not slam on my brakes, but I had to almost come to a complete stop while they navigated that left, knowing full well that they were not supposed to go left. They were supposed to go right. So I didn't know how to address that. Like I was like, Rosario, grab the phone. Just because, I didn't expect that. It totally caught me off guard. And I've seen it happen a couple more times.
Yeah. Oh, you want to wait?
No, don't answer after.
No. It's up to you.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know, I was going to include it in my comments, but it would go better here at this time. We will be updating the truck route system, and that will be coming to you within the next couple months. So you should be happy. And that will allow the city to more comprehensively enforce truck traffic in the city. After we get this updated, we'll then be posting signs, and there'll be a more comprehensive enforcement.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shive, Vice Chairman Shive.
Thank you, Candace, for that. That's good news on our part. I also do very much want to recognition Ryan on how much he has improved on his presentation skills over the last 4 year, 5 years, whatever it is. He has definitely improved, and he knows exactly what we're looking for, so he's here, and I think he probably hits upon the subjects that we like to hear more than some of the other presenters. So good job, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
No, does he want to go?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No.
Last time I think I mentioned, and maybe this will be the first time I mentioned, I remember, Canada, you've mentioned during the presentations, like if there's something that we see that is not according to what the agreement was or to whatnot, to mention and to bring it to the attention. I had submitted on the City of Paris app, there's an empty warehouse that had homelessness around on Indian and Harley Knox.
Yeah, I mentioned that a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just noticed this past, a few days ago, that it was cleared out. However, before it was cleared out, it got to the point where there was a U-Haul, an RV, a car, so they pretty much set up camp, their little house, and they had electricity. I don't know where they were getting it from, but they had electricity as well, because I could see extension cords. So I took pictures and I submitted it, and it's no longer there. However, this is something an issue that I hope that our, is it code enforcement, or is definitely taking a look at, because we approve these, and then guess what? They're empty, and then we get the brunt of it. So I'm glad that they took care of it, but I definitely something to take into consideration, something that I just remembered I wanted to mention. Thank
Do you
you.
have anything else? Okay. I think, I remember mentioning that a couple of years, and I think Ryan was working on it at the time. This is Ryan again. He does it all here. Yeah,
He
but,
brings a lot.
yeah. It's the old broken glass area on that same warehouse, and that's what I was mentioning. If you don't fix it, the old New York concept, it's broken glass, and then you start seeing this if you don't have it. It's a code enforcement issue, too. I do appreciate, too, I think what I wanted to say was to notice, and I'm surprised Jack didn't mention it, and I'm only mentioning this because on Etherneck, on Etherneck, as you go from Getz Road and then about Murrieta Road, from Murrieta Road to where the shopping mall is, if you look on that wall, it's graffiti. I'm shocked that this developer, who's big name, big talk, has allowed that to stay there. It's about 25 feet past that, whatever you call that, canal or whatever. Yeah. And there's all along that wall, they've graffitied along there. I go to Winco a lot, so of course I see everything. I live at Winco. So there's graffiti along there, and they're supposed to have it off in 48. It's been there a while. So you can tell where people walk along that path, and it's past the canal, but it's a walkway that goes down, and you cannot not notice that. So it's one of those things where it just stays there. I'm surprised that the people there living there haven't said anything. Maybe they have, but it's one of those issues that came into conditions of approval. They're supposed to remove, and they're not doing it. And a little surprised at that developer, because they're usually on top of things. But that was just one of the things. Now, on the positive end, I just have to note that there's just no way not to see it. On the positive end, I went on August 19th to the brand new park in Enchanted Hills. I got talked into that, which was nice. I thought at first it was off Diane by the school north of there, but that could be another park too. But it's going north down that street, and to the end there's like a 33 acre park. So I got a chance to go there, and the mayor was there, and Sabrina was there, and then you had representative of the state. And our Clara, who knows me a long time, just says, "Oh, come up and take a picture. And here's a golden shovel." I said, "You really want me in the picture?" I saw you. You really want me in the picture? You can get up here. I'm the city manager. Okay. So I got to do the shovel with the golden end on that, with the mayor, with the city council, with all the other stuff, things you have to do in any position. And it was nice, but I was shocked to do that. He said, "Come on up." I said, "Do you really want Dwayne Hammond in the picture? You want to disavow me? Out of here." But no, I took a picture. It was very nice. It's a park is going to have a splash pool, I think they call it. Kenneth was there. And what do you call those lines?
The zip line.
Zip line too, which is amazing at a park. That area desperately needs a park, and we've been waiting for 40 years before they had a park. Hey, a sewer system in, but so to have a park in that area, and people show up, it was amazing. And it's a big park. They're going to have parking. Go down there, you'll see the design of it, and I think it costs $8.5 million or something like that. City got the grant to do it, so hey, But it's one of those things in that area. Now, I had to deal with Diane Street from the park. This is a little, needs a little fixing up. But it's so wonderful to see that community get something nice in that area, positive in that area. And the citizens really worked on it. So it wasn't just the city throwing it. They came in and said, this is what we want our design to be. This is what we want it to look like. And it's going to be lit at night. So, I mean, it's really something. And it's like the mayor was saying, it's like this is number 28 or 20 something in the city park. And some cities have 2 parks, and we got almost 30. So it's one of those good things that happened. I was able to be there that day, and it was hard. But they really put on a really good show there. And I think they had one of those tractor trailers. I don't know what they were going to do with it, because I sure wasn't going to run one. Maybe to show the digging dirt or something like that. But it's gigantic, so take a look when you have an opportunity. Reckon Parks people, it's like the 3rd park of it. We're really going up. I mean, we're really starting to have a name for ourselves, and parks are really nice. And it's not just a park you just come sit and eat some picnic. It's going to be an active park. So that was good about it. So another positive for the city. And I sat next to Stuart, and I sit next to Stuart. He started talking about infrastructure. Come on, man. Let's talk about the park. He's so engineering minded. Okay. I'm here for the park. Okay. Jeez, but that's okay. It's fun. It's fun group, but be able to see that in the city. Anything positive. You can do something positive in all that's going on, I'll get there. Okay. And I think that's it for me. I think a lot going on. I appreciate us. I appreciate the participation. Believe me, we've had past where we have to drag it out. But I appreciate people getting in and saying what's in mind. I don't ever feel that, you're not talking as much as I do. Okay. But I appreciate you stepping in and doing it. Jackson's smiling now because he didn't have to do all this, right? Oh, yes, Dwayne. And thank you, City Attorney, for keeping me on track. It's not easy to do. I know that. And our engineer. We have great staff to work with. Even Kenneth. Yeah. I know Kenneth a long time. But thank you. So the next item, number 11, is our Director of Development Services report and/or information.
Thank you, Chairman Hammond. I actually like you in your new role, because you're the last person to speak, and hopefully all the other commissioners has asked all the questions.
I hope so. They'll have them after I speak.
Yes. So just giving them all the opportunity. So, I appreciate just the short break that we had, and hopefully you guys were able to utilize that time to enjoy Labor Day and have a little extra time off. But we're getting busy again. Actually, we haven't stopped, but we continue to stay busy. So just for your planning purposes, October 6th, we do have a meeting for that hearing date. There is a plan for 2 projects, one that's being continued from this meeting, and then there's another smaller industrial project. So just wanted to put that on your radar. Beyond that, just wanted to let you know the ADU ordinance got approved by council for first reading, so that's moving forward along. Other than that, we do want to schedule at some point, trying to figure out a time where we can do the tour. And so just want to put that on your radar, because at some point we'll probably want to take back hopefully wrap up the housing element and probably take it back to you in the beginning of December. So that's the plan for right now, because we got to adopt the document by no later than mid-February. So we got to continue that timeline. Beyond that, I have nothing further to report, unless Ms. Candida O'Canada-Neal has anything to report for you this evening.
Before you go there, remember Alexis, I think it's her name?
Yes.
She made a presentation with you before the council. I think it might be good if they heard that same one, because I've been with her for like 12, 13 years. But she went through the housing element and really was specific before the council. I know they're not going to have the ultimate say, but it would be nice to see, because we pushed it.
Yes.
And so and what she went through was very documented about areas in the city, things like that. If it's possible for you guys, and that would be nice.
Why don't we provide a tape of that, a link? We'll
Okay.
take it from the video, because she did do a really
Yeah, she did.
good job that evening, and we can present that to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess the only thing that I did want to say was, there's some interest in landscaping, and at some point, maybe not in the next few weeks, but, because we're pretty busy, but we might want to talk to you about how we talk about landscaping in terms of box sizes of trees, and how we also, sometimes we also use trunks as a measurement. And it would be a little short presentation, but it might be helpful for you, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to have an Arbor Committee, weren't we?
Yeah, I think with a tree committee or something, I don't know.
Arbor.
No, we'll just put a little list.
I have the T-shirt, what can I say? I have proof, you know. We actually are, we actually are. Yeah, I do have the shirt. I'll bring it one day.
You should.
Yeah, because if you don't believe me, I'll show you the shirt.
Wear it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, nothing further. And once again, thank you, staff. This was a nice meeting, right? We didn't beat you up at night. You want to stay till 9? We can go on. I mean, but it took a while to get back in the chair, because I've done it lots of times in the past. But once you get out of the practice of it, you got to get back into it. It's a lot more than what people think it is.
It's boring now.
Yeah. Get a step back and kind of look at things a little different. But anyway, we have adjournment unless there's any other items. And I don't think do we need a motion or anything, or we just, everybody agrees unless they want to crazy, want to be here all night? Okay. Okay, thank you very much.